Uh, yeah, again, morning all of you. We have a very good speaker from L&T. This session was one of the most anticipated session. He's a CDO from L&T. He's going to take us through again what are the best Industry 4.0 practices across other industries. Like, of course, we have seen one from print industry in the morning first session. So we'll have a look around, like what are the best things that L&T is following. Probably we can adapt into our industry and our technologies. So over to you, sir, please. It's Narayan. Yeah.
Thanks, Prabhu. Good morning, all. It's a pleasure to be part of this event, and thanks to the organizers for giving this opportunity. I'll be talking today on the digital transformation post-COVID-19 and how do we see this media and entertainment business from a global perspective and from an Indian perspective. Let me take a minute and share my screen. Prabhu, hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it's fine when I can see your screen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. So how do you see in the today's context, if I put it across? Yeah, I'll take it here. Yeah. So the global media and entertainment, the technologies, market size and trends, if I see in a global footprint, you can continue to see the growth of this business. All the figures are in US dollar, billion dollars. So from 20 billion in the fiscal 17 and to the fiscal 21%, we are seeing that as a $34 billion. So certainly this is the one of the fastest growing vertical or the market for us in the global perspective. And the basic drivers which is driving this kind of a growth across the geographies is typically, which you may be already familiar with. 5G is one of the trendsetter, and rolling out of 5G into the market is accelerating the things in this vertical. And the potential of the market that we see for 5G globally is somewhere close to $250 billion. That includes your devices, your connectivity, your bandwidth, your software, and the associated applications and services on top of it. If I specifically come into the media kind of a business, and OTT, over the top business, is the second fastest driver for us. And by 2025, we are seeing that to be close to a $300 billion potential dollars in this space. And now what we have observed in the market is this digital has also dissolved the boundaries. Okay, there is no more going to be a physical demarcation between a technology A to technology B, service offering 1 to 2. And this has been enabled by quicker adoption of cloud computing. And that is the next segment, which is acting like a bridge, or I would say fundamental block to accelerate the services offerings in the global and media space. And the potential of the cloud computing business is somewhere estimated to be close to an $800+ billion business by 2025. And now with the digital coming pervasive in everybody's life, the Internet of Things, blockchain is the next accelerating technologies in this vertical. And we estimated close to $500+ billion in the connected devices space. Today, each human being is minimum connected with 3 devices. And going forward by 2025, we are expecting that number to grow 3 times minimum. So each human being in the world will be connected minimum to 10 to 12 devices across the board. Okay. And when this connected interference coming into that play, cyber security, your personal data privacy, data security takes a paramount challenge, and it has to be well guided and well secured. So cyber security pertaining to this digital business act a huge differentiator, and we estimate that business to be $200+ billion by 2025. So this gives you a big picture what kind of a business potential or market size that we see today. If I take that for an example in FY19 and FY21, and if I slice and dice that revenue pie, of course, television and the print takes the significant lion's share, in terms of today's revenue, being it in FY19 or being it in FY21. They contribute somewhere close to anywhere between 20 to 15 to 20, $23 billion from FY19 to FY21. But the significant point where I would like to draw your attention is in the digital media. So in FY19, the digital media business was close to 2.48, and today the same business in FY21 is 5.18 billion. That means 2x of the business growth within the sub-verticals of media and entertainment is significantly happening in digital media space. Okay. Having said that, if I boil down to an India kind of a geography, as a case example for you to understand, in the Indian market, the media and entertainment sector is estimated to touch about 2 trillion INR, Indian rupees, by 2020. And in that space also, if I do an apple-to-apple comparison between the global and the Indian footprint, because you know the population of India, the consumer, I would say denominator quotient is so huge and the potential is very high. If I go and see that, of course, TV and print media, plays a significant role in terms of current existing lines of business. But going forward, if I take a cumulative or compounded annual growth rate, digital media is having this significant CAGR in the sub-vertical space of media and entertainment, which stands at today 24% closer. Okay, so that means by 2020, TV is still to be the biggest, but digital media is continued to grow the fastest, and the global audience drives the faster growth in films. So now COVID playing a role, you know that the physical theaters, physical live shows are all challenged. People are switching over to Netflix and OTT media. So that is going to drive it. And the print media, which has been subscription led, will also start getting into the advertisement segment. So their earlier bread and butter used to come from subscription. Now subscription plus advert is what the area that they'll be moving into. And last but not least, the VFX and gaming subsector of the media and entertainment is also seeing a very good traction. And we have seen many hubs, especially hubs like Hyderabad, Bangalore, Mumbai, are becoming the next VFX segment hubs to help the customers who are into this space. And coming to the complete ecosystem landscape, if I try to put it across, today the companies are focusing on their core. Okay, being it an information entertainment, marketplace, connectivity, content, and advert. This is what their core bread and business. But what happens, as I told you, this digital and the new technology coming into the play, and thanks to COVID in a way, this has helped the conventional business to expand or dissolve the boundaries. So if you see from the value chain, moving away from advertisers, and moving away from the core media and expanding into the strategic venture partners. One of the good example is, if you see when Jio launched into the market, their first initial M&A acquisitions were all towards content. So they have been collecting the content. The way they say data is the king in digital, in the media, content is the king. So whoever is having the content-rich service offerings, they will be able to take a lead in the market and going to gain the lion share into that. Now coming to the right side of the spectrum of the whole ecosystem, now there are many non-consumers who are not party to your conventional media and core entertainers has become your consumers. That's what if you see in the left side, I put it as customer of customers. Earlier, if I take print media, people who subscribe that newspapers used to have the reading. Now the data plan and the affordability of data enabled by telco providers has pushed the people who are not conventionally reading a newspaper or downloading a digital news into their mobile apps and start reading up. So your consumer is no more a physical copy, but a digital subscriber. And that digital content is currently offered free of cost, and companies are not making revenue out of it. But what that is going to change is they will get the other source of revenue through advertisements. Okay, so that reach is going to go bigger. Social network and media players are going to significant role, being it your Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. So there are multiple social media, Instagrams. So those kind of social networks and media will play a larger role. And what people are trying to say that is, this is a thin, wafer thin margin business. So if you want to really make money out of it, you have to bring a technology and automation into the play. So the more you bring your technology, the more you bring your process automation into the play, the better will be your bottom line for that, because it is going to be kind of a red ocean going forward. Okay, and more importantly here, your content need not to be come from your own source of employees. There are many freelance contributors, influencers, bloggers. They will also start contributing to your content, and this content is going to be a global, and so we should be open to receive both sides of criticisms going forward. Having said that, let me take a pass on the technology landscape. So there are multiple technologies, and today people are more confused to understand which technology path I should take, which platform I should go for, which are all the one where I can go and put my best bets. Okay, from a consumer and the customer standpoint, this industry is slightly different. Let me take a minute to explain it. If you take a conventional automotive industry or a medical industry, the OEM, the guys who produce the product, defines the market. Okay, how it has to be and what the product has got and how it has to be, controlled by the features. Whereas if it comes to the media and entertainment, your consumer market is already well enhanced with the technology, and your consumers defines your line of business. So there is actually a 180-degree shift that is happening in this industry. So let me take some of the examples. I already talked about OTT. I covered about the cloud, and the digital signages are going to biggest to play. Today, people are using an e-commerce platform to purchase their products. But going forward, your digital signages that are physically put across it is going to be very dynamic. And people are going to see digital signages as the next e-commerce platform. So what you're currently doing with a QR code, with a barcode, is going to die down, and people can do a real e-commerce transaction by selecting the product during their display in the digital signage and make a trade. So that will be enabled with the payment gateways. Of course, all will be secured, blockchain, tracked and traced. So backward traceability is quite robust, and that is going to become the next e-commerce platform. Content I talked about. And when I talked about the automation, let me take an example here. One of the things is voice to chatbot. Today, you would have seen a lot of advents. Let me take an example of, say, matrimonial. Okay, today people give a brief matrimonial advertisements in the media. Now that is going to be voice-based or it is going to be video-based. Okay, once you are secured and your authenticity is validated, these matrimonial advertisements going forward in the digital will be going to be through a video, or it is going to be through the voice. Okay, so it is almost closer to the human interaction. Then it comes to the RPA, which is a robotic process automation. So whatever you have been doing conventionally as part of the last mile connectivity will be fully automated by the RPA applications going forward. So what does it mean? Out of all the technology, let me take a sample of two, cloud and 5G, for you to better understand. So most cloud initiatives by broadcasters involve a private cloud solutions, because content they want to retain and they are going to put it. So cloud service providers will be playing a key role in your launch of business or making profit in your bottom line. So conventional media and entertainment companies who are going and spending it in third-party applications or the services, now they'll be moving towards cloud. They'll be aggregating all their offerings and content into the cloud. So media and entertainment companies are going to increase their cloud spending by 3x, okay, 300 times. That's what the current survey and estimate says. And third, since the data storage, data transmission cost and the data usage cost are significantly reduced by telcos, the cloud usage is going to increase more and more going forward. Thereby, transcoding in the cloud is going to be more realistic. That means if you are taking an interview, if you are streaming something live, You no need to have a back-end office of an editorial board. As you collect the information in the field, with the edge computing and cloud feasible, you can bring your editing room or editorial board next to you in the field, make that edit, and you can stream that data straight away into the live news channels, and reaching out to the market with the first information. So the cloud adoption in broadcasting is going to redefine the way currently media and industry business are running through, and cloud solutions and media is going to become an ingredient and inevitable service offering going forward. Coming to the 5G, you may be already familiar with. 5G is not only disrupting the broadcasting and communication business, but it cut across all the verticals. So being it as a consumer application, or the enterprise applications that you try to do, or the devices, the connected devices that I mentioned, is going to play a significant role with 5G. And 5G coming as a rollout, as a fabric across this application. So your real-time live game shows, live gaming experiences of the consumer is going to be in the next orbit. Okay. Fourth, your networks are becoming more and more sophisticated and affordable at this point of time, provided the spectrum and the governing policies are in favor to the business. This network proliferation towards the rural population is going to significantly increase. That will give the volume business that media and entertainment business is looking forward today. And of course, last but not least, I talked about the cloud engineering and the benefits that we already discussed about. Going to the current scenario, okay, this was all good, rosy, very interesting pre-COVID scenario. Now let me take a stab what COVID has done to our media and entertainment industry and how we are looking into. So number one, because of COVID, restricted travel, closures of theaters and live events that I mentioned. But the flip side, the bright side of that is it has brought the huge adoption of subscription TVs and OTT applications. Today, the film producers, once upon a time, were struggling to get their releases based on the theaters availability. Now OTT made their life, I would say, better. And these OTT platforms are helping them to launch their movies right in time with an affordable cost into that. So, and from a revenue standpoint, we have seen that roughly for Netflix alone or Amazon Prime alone, 40% increase during the COVID has happened. And thanks to the telco infrastructure across the countries, which enable them to happen. So if I go by that, the EY latest report or consumer saying that this OTT platform will be further enabled for education, shopping, and banking and other applications as well going forward. Now, if you take the second spectrum, so where do the companies go and invest? So the shift of investment of dollars are going towards digital. Being, because advertising dollars from outdoor, where you put a big flexi board kind of an advertisement, to a digital platform. So now the adverts will be very focused, very targeted audience, and they're able to launch in multi-platforms to reach to the end consumers, stretching their digital offerings. Number three, the data and content security. As I mentioned here, for digital, data is the king, or data is the new oil. For media and entertainment business, content is the king and it's a new oil, and privacy is going to play a significant role. So litigations, legal conditions, legal policies has to be thoroughly validated, the fine prints to be taken care of before we launch it, which has got the liability factor into it. Fourth, so now consumer will be already a king and they will define the market, but they will get a totally a new perspective of the interaction and experience, since every content is cloud and they are at their fingertips. And thanks to media and entertainment of leveraging this, apart from the gaming part of it, apart from the learning part of it, now the media and entertainment has also given an experience in the gaming, because now the travel restriction, outdoor activities are very curtailed. People are moving into the gaming application significantly, and thanks to media and entertainment for enabling it. So if I go by the wide, Entrepreneur India report, the white box offices and event management companies have taken a significant blow because no outdoor events, but OTT services are gaining momentum, and the same application, in the way we are conducting today's event, has become totally digital, and we have become more connected than we are ever. And similarly, the entrepreneur in India also says, if I take COVID as a dark time, but the brighter side of it is OTT is giving a glimmer of hope, and there has been an increased and significant usage of this platform over the last few months, adding up to the dollar revenue. So having said that, how are we prepared to address this market as a company, as a customer? Are we ready to take it to the market? So here are some of the technology, whether you like it or not, while you may have your earlier editorial board, script writing, your journalist, your technician, sound engineering, and so on. Going forward, these are all the technologies, being it a virtual reality, being an Internet of Things, big data analytics, artificial intelligence, machine learning based voice chatbots, 3D printing for your rollouts, social and mobile handlers are going to become, and the experts who are going to drive this technology within your company is also going to be different. So you need a digital roadmap clearly defined, and you need the experts to be available in the roadmap for you to get into that, because paper-based conventional marketing has become totally digital, and the skill sets and expertise required for them to be successful is also different. And there are maturity of service providers which are fairly available in the market, and the engineering service providers are addressing this digital wave challenge, being a partner to the media and entertainment companies rather than a vendor. And if you see the current roadmap, most of the companies are reskilling their existing skilled force and targeted to have close to 4 to 5 million people who are trained and skilled people who can be able to take up this challenge and support the media and entertainment business. So that is a kind of a readiness that from a supplier end is getting ready today. Going forward, the new normal or the revenue streams for the media houses, no choice, take it or leave it. That is the kind of a situation we are in. So if you really want to improve your bottom line, the new normal is going to be a cloud, centralized content, of course, with all the privacies and security in place, and demand-based advertisements that you can put it. It need not to be any more static. Third, gamification and gamified sports viewership is going to take the good momentum. And that is one of the areas many of these startups are opening up their service offering, and there is a good welcoming investment plan from private equities and angel funders are available. If your offering is very, very unique and differentiated, you will have a very good opportunity to become the next unicorn. Third, it is direct to consumer. The middleman segment is gone. That's why I call us customer's customer, or I would say consumer. So the direct targeted launch and reach of consumer in their experience has to be the game changer. And fourth, more in demand OTT gaming platforms are going to come in. And the static conventional standalone offerings is going to slowly taper down, and the new real-time demands are going to surge up. And as a company, whoever is having that kind of readiness will be able to lead the market. So how the technology is going to help in the new normal? Certainly it is a boon. Of course, there is a tip, there is a hit, that is actual and that is understandable. So how can I take that as a boon, increase that reach by creating a virtual platform for a data exchange, platform exchange, and collaboration? And how can I leverage digital to bring my operational cost lower? Rather than investing all my fund in a capex, in a depreciative asset, can I bring that trade-off balance with an OPEX model? Third, now artificial intelligence and machine learning are getting mature day by day, with powered with engineering analytics, will help you to give a longevity of your readership, your consumer loyalty, and you will also get the trend and likes of the pattern, what your consumer is interested in, and you can dynamically generate that content and deliver to them. So as I mentioned it, you have to get into a hybrid model. You are the king of the business, your line of business. So whichever the hybrid model is more suitable for you, which fit the size for you, you can able to tailor it. And last but not least, the lines between the traditional and the new age offering is already dissolved or blurred, and no more, I am the king of a particular segment is ruled out. It is going to be a highly ecosystem play, and how we are going to leverage the technology is going to bring the change. So where do I begin the change? That is a fundamental question. Having said that, digital cannot be an offering anymore. It should become your culture of your company going forward. So you should be open to get a diversity of ideas. Your past glamorous achievements will be challenged now. Second, every day is a learning. So continuous learning process should be part of your company's culture if you want to lead the race and lead the pack. Third, you should be very agile and flexible to embrace the changes the way that COVID has brought in. How quick we are able to change and adopt is going to, number one, address our survivability of the business. Second, growth of our business. And last but not least, these technologies are going to be driven by the next zillennials and millennials of the world. So there'll be a lot of youngsters who will be coming into this line of business. And how do we encourage the collaboration with an experience and expertise from people with the technology-oriented youngsters who are coming to the board, and leveraging both their synergies is going to make the differentiation. With that, I would like to submit my big thank you to the organizations and for the patient listening to all your audiences. And I'm glad to take any questions that you would like to pose. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Narayan. It was a wonderful session. I guess no, everybody enjoyed it. So I have a question from audience, of course.
Yes.
Yes. Tell me one key technology that you recommend for the print media and the newspaper industry, like maybe learning from your industry that can be incorporated or adapted into our print media, something like that.
Yeah, Prabhu, unified content platform is what we recommend. And
Yes.
we are working with many of the print media companies today. What they struggle is they have the legacy systems in play, and they're trying to bridge that with the human forces. Going forward, that is not going to be sustainable and affordable model. So our recommendation or suggestion would be is first get your content together where you can able to create a collaborative workbench and where you can able to dynamically edit the data and immediately reach out to your consumer. So better to have a unified content platform would be the area to look at. One significant change if anybody like to do that.
Okay. Yeah. So of course, we even in our pre-press or our industry is most of the content oriented, like
yes,
driven by the contents.
Yes, and this content is also probably going forward need not to be static. It will be video based or voice based. So today, what the companies does is they do a 2x2, advertised by a product company, right? So if you want to sell a, say, microwave oven, I'm just giving an example, or you want to sell a cell phone, you get a picture of the cell phone, then you print the features of it. Going forward, what the trend we are seeing because of the digital media is the product company owner will give a 30-second, 50-second snippet video with a voice. So that will be embedded. You click on that, that will give you the product features of that with a 3D enabled VR experience. That's what you're looking at.
Yeah, I agree. Especially considering the younger generation, they are like, even they are into scanning QR code to get the product details. Like
exactly.
Like technology and trends have changed, of course. Yeah, hopefully, like here in our industry, our media industry and newspaper industry, as you said, probably we have to find a technology that can be driven by the content and so on.
Yeah.
So I think we have another just few minutes. 4 or 5 minutes, but I think there is no other questions from the audience, I guess. I think that's not be that shouldn't be a problem. So I think we can just close off the session, and then we can maybe thanks a lot for joining us for the session. Yes, we'll find you some other time in some other events.
Sure.
Yeah.
Pleasure to connect with you, Prabhu, and thanks to Wilson as well.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Good
Thanks
day.
all of you, and we'll join the next session. Just go back to your timeline as we said, and join the next session. Thank you.